Hey guys, my name is Ryan Elias Baker, and I am the runner of this channel, and I'm also a huge fan of the MTV Scream series. Let's just hop right into it. The number one reason it's a fantastic series is the characters. The characters are so good. The character of Emma, the main character, is great. However, I feel like where the characters really shine is inside the characters of Audrey and also Brooke. Audrey is this kick-ass, rebellious, angsty teen with a feisty personality. Brooke is also very feisty, but she has this like bubblegum princess thing going on, but over the course of the show, she learns to sort of correct that behavior and realizes what a pain she's been to everybody around her. You know, the first person to die in a horror movie, the very promiscuous, you know, flamboyant girl character? That's Brooke, except she... I won't say whether or not she lives or dies. I'll say she lives long enough to correct her behavior. Take that as you will. Also, my boy Jake. You can't kill the Jake, baby. You just can't. And then there's also Noah, obviously, and I will get to Noah. That boy's my man. Number two, intriguing story. A lot of the times in, you know, especially modern shows, modern horror shows, it gets old. It's very monotonous. Shows like Vampire Diaries, Pretty Little Liars. I've heard various things about how they can drag, but I never had that experience with Scream MTV. It always keeps my interest. After every episode, there's a reason to watch the next one. It's very well written in that regard, and a lot of people don't give it credit because it's not Ghostface, it's Brandon James, the Brandon James killer, but still, you have every reason to watch it to the end. Just, you can't give up on it so soon like everybody does. Number three, awesome kills. This show has some beast kills, particularly in season 2. Season 1 killer is pretty damn good with their kills, pretty violent. Season 2 killer, horror mania, horror amazingness. The Scream TV show has some of the best kills in possibly the entire Scream property as a whole, especially season 2. Season 2, Brandon James killer is a fucking menace to society. Number 4 is an inventive soundtrack. The soundtrack is so killer. It's like, it's very like tiptoey, like there's a lot of strings and like, love it. I love that it takes that that direction because at its surface, it's like a teen horror show, but the soundtrack makes it really mature and it creates this dramatic vibe. Things like Emma's theme. Serves to make the show more serious than it would otherwise be, which is what a good soundtrack should do. It should establish the tone and further enhance the emotions of a story. The soundtrack is also pretty creepy at points. I will give it points for that as well. Number 5, I told you I'd get back to Noah. In Scream 2, something tragic happened. Spoiler alert, the character of Randy bit the dust.
Bundy, OJ,
That, to me, is the most aggravating horror death of all time. Because look, Randy is not just a character, right? He's a vehicle for the audience to show us the story. He's us, in essence. Horror fans who know the rules, right? Randy shouldn't have died. Number 1, no one is stupid enough to get that close to a van in broad daylight with their back turned, let alone Randy Meeks. Number 2, the reason they did it was so lame. Kevin Williams was like, well, we need to kill off major characters to, you know, prolong the tension of who's gonna live, who's gonna die. Well, you don't need to do that. A clever writer can make the audience scared for the main characters to die without actually killing off one of the main characters. Why not make a new character that's really lovable, that's really likable, and then kill them off, right? It's just as effective as killing off a legacy character, except it doesn't make the audience pissed at you. Like, what if you were watching The Walking Dead, right? And Rick and Daryl were walking through a meadow, and Daryl's like, here's something, and just gets shot through the fucking face. And Rick's like, no! Like, imagine how stupid that'd be, right? Randy's death does not matter. Gail's like, oh, I need to start researching more, and goes and helps Dewey get into the case a little more. That's it. You could have had that be another character that Gail got attached to. Maybe her cameraman again. Maybe she feels guilt for that, right? Kenny flashbacks. It did not have to be Randy. That's why Noah is such a great character. He is the Randy character, but he doesn't imitate Randy. That's what I love about the actor John Carna. He's so good. He's like, he's one of the most likable actors of all time, in my opinion. He's just so on the nose horror fan. And I just see a little bit of myself in him. And I'm sure every other horror fan can do that. When he's in danger, I clench my fists till I feel like they might fall off. Don't kill my boy Noah, please. And that's good writing, Kevin Williamson. That's what a show can achieve. We're scared to death that Noah might die, but you don't have to kill off one of your leads just to make us feel that. Take notes, Kevin W. Take notes. You're a horror alumni, but take notes. Number 6 is the surprising reveals. You'd think, the rest of the show is pretty good, but a lot of shows have pretty trash reveals. The reveals in this show are really good, especially season 2. You start to get it, but at the same time you're like, it can't be that. But that's all the reveals in the show. That can't be right because this happened and this could have happened that way. Whoa, it makes sense. Holy shit, that is who it is, right? Moments like that. It's really cool. And then number 7, the original story. This is one of the biggest complaints people have about the series, that it's not the same as the Scream franchise. That it should have, been more like the movies. But here's the thing. The TV show takes place around the Brandon James killer, this old legend of a kid who was killed by some bullies and came back to wreak havoc on the town, right? And that's the killer, right? People even think it's Brandon James come back, but we know as the audience it's probably one of the main cast, who's going to be revealed later as the killer. But here's the thing, it's a ghost story told in a way that obviously that premise is very repetitive and it's been done before, but it does it in its own original fashion. It makes it very technologically advanced. It introduces iPhones and hacking into the mix. It has one of our central characters related to the tragedy itself, and her daughter is sort of our vehicle for the story. It's essentially the old Jason legend, but modernized. And I really like that. Ghostface was just a killer, right? He called you and he was outside your house and it was creepy. But the idea of this kid who died, he was deformed and he died, and his ghost has come back to wreak havoc, right? On not only the modern characters, but also the old characters that in some way were related to that original tragedy. It's almost haunting. It makes it that much more disturbing when people don his mask, because that was a real thing that happened. That was a real town tragedy. And it shows that extra depravity that people are willing to use that legend to commit heinous murders. It's creepy when you think about it. I've seen the series about 3 times now. It's only 2 seasons, it's not too long. But give it a shot. At least the first season, give it a shot. I think you'll really fall in love. If you are a fan of horror, you will really like it. But take it as it is. It's not Ghostface, it's not Scream. It's its own thing. It's the Lakewood slasher. When you think about it that way, it's actually pretty chilling and a really good watch with great characters, great score, and great story. For your consideration.